People talk about how the gym is so great to get your life, your discipline, your structure, and your build some confidence. But in my opinion, there's only one thing better than the gym. And that's a hard labor working job out in the field or something that requires hard labor. For the simple reason that when you're in the gym, a lot of these people nowadays, it builds an ego for them. And an ego works against you. It's the worst thing you could have is an ego. And it gives a lot of people a big head, and it gives them confidence, but sometimes that confidence works against them because they use it in the wrong way. When you work a hard labor job, it keeps you honest, it keeps you humble. It's like when you're working hard labor, you're not just doing a glamour show, looking at yourself in the mirror and thinking you're great. Nowadays, everybody thinks they're the best thing since sliced bread, right? With the social media and all that, everybody's great. Everybody is extraordinary because of all this social media displaying and all that stuff that you can do. When you're working hard labor, your nose to the grindstone, you're working for a paycheck, and you're working, and it's keeping you honest, and there's no glamour show there. It'll keep you real humble and keep it real, man. It'll keep it real, and that's what you need, in my opinion. The gym is great, keep you healthy. You need both, actually, because I use the gym for injury prevention type stuff. So when I'm doing hard labor, I'm less likely to get injured because I'm keeping all those muscles. I'm keeping them strong so that it can take the brunt when I'm doing labor. So that's my opinion on the matter. I know a lot of people are gonna argue with me on this because the hard labor sector of life has pretty much, it's still there, but it's dwindled way down. And the newer generation coming up, they don't want nothing to do with it, most of them. There's a very small percentage that want anything to do with hard labor jobs. And it's pretty much a glamour show right now with people working out in gyms. Back in the day, we didn't have gyms because everybody had a hard labor job and you didn't need a gym. And the gyms were actually frowned upon. Working out was actually frowned upon when I was a kid, because your family looked at it as, times are tough. If you've got time to work out, that means you had more energy left over from working that you could have been working and contributed to the household you were living in. That's the way it was looked upon. So if you were working out at a gym or anything like that, you got some looks because you were like you were a phone. It was almost like you were a phony because you weren't doing what you were supposed to be doing, because you could have been out there helping with the bills, making some money, and helping with the overhead, because your family was your mother and father were out there grinding it every day, and then here you are putting on a glamour show. That's the way they look at it as. So I know, like I said, there's going to be a lot of controversy on this topic because maybe there's a lot of young people that are going to watch this video and they can't really relate, because this is the era of like if you're around 50 years old and up, you can relate to what I'm saying. Maybe high 40s, you can relate to what I'm saying. So anyway, drop me a comment down below. I'd like to hear your thoughts on this matter.